welcome back to another episode. We are here with Paul and I'm Daniel, and we are talking about stories, and this is going all the way back to when Paul was a young little kid and what he's done on his journey and all that sort of stuff. So welcome to the show. Welcome everybody who's watching, and let's get straight into it. So first of all, tell me about where you were born, kind of, you know, your childhood from, like, you know, 5 to 10 years old sort of arena.
Okay, I was born in a little town called Portland, which is southern end of Victoria. So I actually used to describe it as the last place you go before you fall off the edge of Australia, and then you have to swim to Tasmania. And it was a little fishing town. Yeah. It was like, they almost classed it as a town, but not quite. So I think we got our first McDonald's in there just as I moved out, and it was so it was pretty rare to have takeaway food.
Yeah, wow.
So they had the fish and chip shop, and that was about it.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty small town. My dad was a fisherman, so I grew up around the sea, grew up around smelling old nets, rotting fish and things like that, and spent a lot of time on the ocean and things like that. So it was good memories.
Good memories. So how long did you live in that little town?
Until I was about 14.
Yeah, okay.
And then my father realised that the town wasn't going anywhere, so he actually moved us all from Portland up to the Gold Coast. Yeah. So I was about 14. So I got pulled out. I almost regretted what he did, because I was just starting to get it with the girls back in there. So, that 14-year-old
now you had to start all over again.
And I had to start all over again on the Gold Coast, and I didn't start off well. I suppose it didn't really help much in that I was obsessed with anything to do with technology. So, you know, trying to pick up girls. And
so you were all into technology, and you moved to a place that was all about surfing.
Yeah.
But you surf now, right?
No.
No?
No, I body surfed.
Okay.
Actual surfing. I used to love body surfing, especially when the storms would come through. So I'd be out in the big swells, which they recommend not to do, but we loved it. We just get out there and have fun. I used to go to Miami High School on the Gold Coast.
Okay.
So, you know, as soon as the waves were up, we just, you know, sneak off. It was either that or we'd go around the corner to Nobby's Penny Arcade and spend all our mum's change that we'd steal out of her purse and play video games. Yeah. If you know Gauntlet, you wouldn't know.
No.
Some people might know what Gauntlet is.
No, not me.
I
was like Pac-Man, sort of. That's what we played.
We did a bit of Pac-Man, but yeah, this other one was more of a, I suppose, a Dungeons and Dragons type Pac-Man.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty much a hardcore nerd, and that's what I was known for at school. So that's probably why I didn't get any girls on the podcast.
That's great. So, when did you first get like your first job? Did you have a job when you were in high school? When you were back in the little town or Gold Coast?
On the Gold Coast, I obviously been obsessed with computers and things. I found the local computer store, which was between home and school. Yeah. And there was a little place called Phoenix Computers, and the guy there used to let me come in and tinker around and help me fix things up. So it was just as the IBM PCs were starting to come into their own, and I used to tinker with those a fair bit. So I used to do a fair bit of free work for him, which was cool. Yeah. But the side effect
because you enjoyed it and you wanted to learn and sort of stuff. Yeah.
So I'd actually gotten really into the programming, and I actually got really into the games programming. But I then, because I was dealing with a lot of the customers in the store, I started selling custom software. So I was writing software for them when I was about 15.
Yeah.
So, so that took off. And I remember my first deal, this was my first hustle.
Yeah.
And I wrote some software for this guy that was doing the astrology printouts in the shopping centres they had back in those days. And he basically got me to write this software for him. I wrote it, he'd come in that day to pay for it and take it. So he grabbed the disc and was about to walk out the door. And I hadn't got paid. So I'm this 15-year-old skinny kid. I just ran to the door and I stood in front of him. I said, "You haven't paid me." He goes, "I haven't got the money. I'll post it to you." He didn't have a postal address for me, anything like that. And I said, no, I want to get paid now. And I actually barred the door so he couldn't get out.
Yeah, wow.
And I said, "Either give me back the software or you pay me." And he goes, and he gets his wallet and says, "Look, this is my last $100 note. If I give this to you and something happens to me on the way home, it's going to be on your conscience." I said, "Yeah, fine, I can deal with that. Thanks very much." So that was my first hustle. And it sort of continued after that. So I've been doing that basically ever since.
So how old were you then? 15.
15.
Yeah. And so so in your teenage years, how much more how did that grow in your teenage years?
I basically started a business up probably about a year after that, and I was writing stock market analysis software, so look at trendings and things on charts. I also wrote like the original business quoting systems on the original IBM PCs, and selling that sort of software. So I started a fairly good small business out of it. All the way through high school, and I was actually writing computer games, and I was posting into all these places to try and get accepted, and get them on the front disc of Australian Personal Computer Magazine and things like that. And I was prolific at it. Like, I would spend literally weeks and weeks and weeks working on projects. So I'd rarely go out.
How was your schoolwork? Because you were spending
terrible. But I did get asked to run the IT class. Because the IT teacher got sick, and the arts teacher, she had to go at it. She goes, "Look, Paul, I can't do this. Can you?" So I set the assignment, which was to write a computer game, of course. And I marked it for everybody in the class.
That's great.
For the teacher. So I got straight A's in anything to do with technology.
What did the rest of the class get? Did they get A's? What did you mark them?
I think I gave them like C's and B's. I said, "No, I know." If it was a functional game, I'd give them a C. If it had some sort of gameplay, I'd give them a B. But no, I got an A, just me. Best way to do it. Don't tell them that. Even kids probably get failed on that. Way back 25 years ago.
But that's hilarious. I love those kind of stories where you. I had a story very similar where a new program came out called Rivet for architecture and stuff, and it just came out, and the teachers were all going on courses and stuff like that, and I got a copy to take home, and it was school holidays. And like a week of school holiday, I knew this program inside out. I came back to the school and I knew more about this program than the teachers did. And so I would have to go around and like help all the students. But it's so good because it gives you self-esteem to teach other people what you know.
Yeah, it also lets you take more risks. You feel more confident in what you can do.
That's
so
right.
You take yourself to new places.
Yeah. Cool. So after that high school journey, where did you go from there? What was your first job, real job? Did you have a real job?
My first real job was actually my father gave me a job. Carrying the steel to the building site for him. So I hated it. It was not a pretty sight. So I actually went and chased some more work, and I ended up working in a video. Actually, I worked at Sheraton Mirage as a kitchen steward, washing dishes. Hated that job too. And then I managed to get something a little bit of a step up, and that was working selling video and audio equipment out of Southport. Almost like that job. I got to play with a lot of cool stuff. And then I began to change jobs, and I started working at a place called Data3, and they're still operating now in Queensland. And I was looking after all the installations of PC software and setting up networks and things like that. But I wasn't programming. That was the big thing for me. And around that time, I actually ended up getting married as well. So I got married to, I suppose, the first girl that really took an interest in me.
Who took an interest in the geek, right?
She likes me good. I'm married. So, anyway, we ended up moving down to the Central Coast to be close to her family, because they were running a local church down there. So we moved down there, and I'd started, and I actually got a contract, an ad hoc contract for a place called, now they call them Electronic Arts. But they actually sponsored me in writing some computer game software. So I finally got someone to notice my computer game software. So they sponsored me, and they were looking after me.
So how old were you at when you got married and all this happened?
21. So it was 21. So I actually had a semi-contract, so I had a deal if I could finish the game off. But then we had children, and then I had to actually start making some real money. And I ended up working back for another software company down on the Central Coast, New South Wales. And they were paying me probably about $20 less than what I was going to get on the dole. And I figured it wasn't a real good deal. So I then went to the banks, and I tried and convince the banks to give me a loan so I could start my own business. And no bank would talk to me. Just knew my couple had no real assets or anything like that. But they gave me a credit card. So I spent, I think it was a $2,000, was it ANZ or Westpac credit card? I spent the entire amount on my phone bill, because I run every design company in Australia over a 2-week period, and said, I will build your websites. And most of them just said, what's a website? This is like the mid-90s. And I hadn't really heard of it, and I was obsessed with it. My friend showed me what the internet was, I just got obsessed with it. And anyway, I started this business up. I ended up with half a dozen clients, and 3 of those were big design companies down in Sydney, and they wanted to get into the web. And funnily enough, I ended up picking up some really big clients out of that. H&R Block, Hayes Personnel, Studio Magazines, a Variety Club Australia, and all those. And that provided me really good income. So by the time I got 20, I was 23. About the time I was 23, I had a $500,000 a year business. So I was feeling pretty chuffed with myself, and that was going really well. That all sort of come to a grinding halt September 11, 2001. and I was having the best time up till then too.
Yeah,
we were rocking it. We were getting invited to after parties, and the IT boom was all the big thing, and we were riding the wave. And I had some great guys working for me then too. So about half a dozen guys working for me on contract, and we were doing some cool stuff. But September 11 came, and I remember waking up that morning and seeing these pictures. I thought, is that a movie? And then no, it's like there's been major terror. So I never got another phone call for any client for 3 months. And I remember bringing up one of them, and it was a big client of mine. They spent a lot of money. And I said, what's going on? They said, look, we're going to talk to you. And I said, oh, is there going to be any more work? I said, no, but we're going to give you all of our equipment. I said, what do you mean? So they gave me their entire rack of servers.
Wow.
And they said, you can have all the clients and everything. They actually gave this whole clients a whole lot. So I ended up with a hosting business.
Yeah.
And that ran for a little while, but there was just people didn't want to spend money on the internet. So I actually shut it all down, and we sold up everything and moved back to the Gold Coast.
So this is 2001.
2001 and 2002 I moved back to the Gold Coast.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I ended up the worst place of all, working back for my father. And I wasn't carrying the steel anymore, I was just shoveling gravel.
Yeah.
So this huge dive from being like this guy who's going to after parties and getting invited places and getting stories in the local paper and things like that.
I'm really interested, I'm really interested in why do you think, like, September 11 happened, right? And I was 10, I think, at that stage. So for me, I was on the other side of the world. I was in South Africa, seeing it at nighttime happening. And I was like, to me, it was the first time that I was like, why is it daytime there? Like, I never understood that when it's nighttime where I am, it's daytime somewhere else. As a kid, I didn't understand that. I've only, like, in the last, I would say, couple of weeks, that I've heard how September 11 really impacted finance and that whole world. Yeah. And I never knew that. Well, why do you think that activity had such a global effect? Because I mean, this is new to me, because I never...
The way I see it, like, finance is very much about confidence.
Yeah.
Like, people generate wealth because they believe there's value in something. If you lose confidence in something, you won't value it anymore.
Yeah.
So once people lose confidence in the economy, they don't value that the economy is going to provide for them. So the first thing they do is they hunker down, keep what they've got, and stop spending. So obviously the uncertainty that came with that prompted people to basically say, well, I'm not sure what's going to happen over the next couple of years. You know, are we going to go to World War? People are going to start bombing each other. Are we going to get called in to, serve in the military, things like that. And I thought about that, like, are we going to get called in?
Yeah. That was...
Yeah, literally.
September, Okay.
They talked about those sort of things. So people just wanted to save money. So they backed off and they stopped spending. They didn't want to go and borrow money. Obviously that drives finance huge. So all that stuff happened. And the uncertainty and the fear that people felt was very real. I remember talking to a lot of people, and it's like, well, we don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to actually go back into a war? And we did. But the finance thing seemed to just keep going. Like, there was a little bit of a hiccup.
Wow.
But for me too, like, I really felt it because I'd overextended myself in business, so I wasn't in a good place to take a disruption. I was expecting things to continue to rise and rise and rise. So I think it was my inexperience that really caused me to step back and have to pull my head back in. And then I punished myself literally for years after that, because I saw the guys that were working for me, they had a little hiccup for a year or two, but they got back on the horse and they went hardcore at it, and they became very successful. They're doing very, very well now. So,
I think you feel like that as the owner of a business, when something happens and you turn around, you'd be like, that was my fault. It could have been different if I was prepared differently, or if I made different choices. And you really struggle to get past that in yourself. Because I've had the similar sort of feeling as well with when I've failed in areas. But yeah, it's interesting because I was 10 and I was coming to Australia during that time. So for me, it was all exciting. It was all, all this stuff was happening. I mean, we actually landed on the 14th of September or something, 13th of September or something like that, the following year after that. Wow. And people was like, what are you doing? You're crazy, blah. So as a kid, I missed all this financial, so like for me, listening to this is really interesting because...
You missed the whole
I missed the whole thing because I mean, as a kid, you're not into finance.
No.
I mean, I still don't even know how much millions or billions of dollars was lost that day.
Well, I was actually trading the stock market as well at that time.
Yeah, so that must have...
Well, the funny thing is, just before it happened, there was a lot of trades went against American Airlines. I mean, like a magnitude of 100 times greater than normal.
Yeah,
there was an option for it to go down. And it's like, it spiked like this. And so obviously someone knew that was coming. They put a crap load of money on it.
Yeah.
And then when it drops, then the markets just went boom. And it just like cascaded.
Yeah. Yeah, wow, that's amazing. Okay, cool. Let's get back to your story. Okay, cool. So September 11 has passed. You worked back at your father's place. You didn't enjoy it. What was happening there?
Obviously, I got time between my legs.
Yeah.
I'd shut my business down. I was in debt. I had to pay it off. I had to, sort of come to terms with people that I owed money to. And the only thing I could do was to get a job as a labourer. So obviously my father had a job there. He helped me sort out some financial things, and I owed him, so I had to work for him. Unfortunately, the biggest problem for me, I'd always been in IT. I'd never been a heavy lifter. I'd never been someone who was out there doing physical things. And working with him, I think within 3 years, I'd slipped 3 discs in my back, and it really damaged a nerve down my right leg, the sciatica nerve. So I was, I remember. I got a blood infection from a scratch on the work site, and I had to go into hospital, and they put me on IV drips for a week. Like, it was a really bad infection. But when I got up, my back just, it was gone. So I then ended up going through all this surgeries, went through a couple of surgeries. My wife, she was amazing. She went out and just took the reins and got on doing whatever odd job she could to keep the family going. Because we had 5 children by then.
Yeah.
5 children with mortgages.
You didn't have a TV, obviously.
Got a TV, got a big one, and it's 4K. Yeah. So we're taking up the story with that anyway. So my back went, and it was actually a bit of a godsend in a way, because it pulled me off working actually in my father's business.
Yeah.
So I wasn't working in it, and I remember when I first told him about my back, and he basically said, everyone gets a sore back, just toughen up and keep on with it.
Yeah.
I had a sore back.
Drink some cement.
Yeah, drink some cement. Hard enough. Yeah. But I actually lost a lot of function down my right leg. I couldn't actually stand on it. But he just thought it was rubbish. So we had a bit of a falling out for a little while. And basically, you're not going to see the grandkids anymore, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I went and borrowed money from Aussie Home Loans. I got a credit card. So anyway, back at the credit cards again. To get my back done. Because I couldn't get into the public system quickly.
So have you paid all that other debt off by this stage?
Yeah, I paid it all off within about 18 months.
Yeah, that was
awesome. So then 3 years later, after I paid off all the debt, I injured myself. So I got the surgery, and my father came back about 3 or 4 months later and said, look, obviously it was bad, you had that surgery to fix it. And he said, would you come back and help me build my business up, help me grow it? So I accepted the offer. I thought, it's my father, family looks after family and that. And I started implementing systems left, right and centre. I just took all my IT skills and just went to town. And if I had to do something twice, I'd program it, I'd write a system for it.
Yeah.
And that sort of set me up in a position that all the admin stuff in his business was basically looked after. And I then went and did a tendering course for him and had to chase down government tenders.
Yeah.
And I think it was 18 months after he asked me to come and work on his business that we turned over $2 million. So we went from 200,000 like 18 months before to $2 million in that time. And the growth was just enormous. And I remember him saying to me, how are we going to manage this? And I said, we'll just take it one day at a time. And Hector and I actually talk about this, my business partner now. He says, how do you eat an elephant? It's just one mouthful at a time. Just keep chewing and don't stop. And that's what we did.
An elephant's big, man.
It is. It's a lot of work. You just keep going day by day by day. So we did that, and then he moved running out of his shed into offices. Now he's got warehouses and offices and things like that. And he's doing massive jobs now. So I still work a fair bit in there. But those systems, I got challenged about 5 years ago from a business coach lady that was a friend of ours, and she said, why don't you do that for other businesses? And that really, that challenged me. It scared me and challenged me. So I was in this comfy job looking after this company that had grown into a multi-million dollar company, and I was sitting on a good weekend. And I thought, I could, I'm going to have to pump some money into it though, take a bit of a risk, will I do it? And she just kept saying, you've got one life, what are you going to do? I said, well, I suppose. And the more I've gotten into it, and it took off. Like we're at the stage now where we're spreading across Australia. We've got people selling our products, in New South Wales, Victoria, Canberra. We're talking to people who are going to go in specific industries with our stuff now. And for me, that was a huge challenge to not so much the fear of failure, but the fear of success was a big one for me. Like, how big could I take it? Because I knew when you're writing cloud software, if it's a good product, you can put it across the globe in an instant. It's just the way it works, and that's why these people apps do so well. So for me, I struggled for 2 years. Like, how big could I take it? How big could I take it? And then when I really accepted the fact that if I don't give it a go now, I'm not going to get another chance. Then it all just opened up. And I suppose the last 6 months it's really opened up. That we've pushed a lot of stuff out in the media. We've gotten the Software House name out there. We've got my face out there as the spokesperson, and that's just exploded. Even to the point now I can walk into a room of people I don't know. I think, oh, it's Paul Barby off Facebook. Just a small community in Brisbane, by the way. I'm not that popular. And thank you very much to the person who said that to me the other night. It made me feel great.
That's great.
That's pretty cool, and that's what social media does for people. And for me, I had to learn all about that stuff. You know, being a programmer and a tech person, getting out in front of people, that's a whole new thing. But if you're going to grow a business, you've got to get yourself out there. You can't hide yourself underneath a cup and hope that people are going to see who you are.
They're going to be attracted to a business because of who you are.
They are, yeah. They've got to relate.
Cool. Awesome, man. So just wrapping up here quickly, you've got a group that you started up.
Digital Go-Getters and Entrepreneurs in Brisbane.
Tell us about that.
One of the things, when I got involved in the social media stuff and to grow the business, we realised that you've got to have social proof that people know who you are, that you're interacting with people. You're not some guy hiding away in a back bedroom or in a cave or something like that. And they call that, don't hide yourself. So I always knew that connecting with people and collaborating was a great way to grow your business, because you support each other. So if I'm good at one thing, you're good at another, we can work together, find clients and swap and things like that. So we had this idea of setting up a group for people like me, like digital people who like to get out there and make things happen. And I always felt that I've worked in the entrepreneurial space. So we called it Digital Go-Getters and Entrepreneurs, and we just started promoting it, mainly to our first group of people that we had as friends here, and they started bringing people. So we're sitting at just over 400 members now in that group.
Cool.
So we have a monthly meeting, and we'd have probably 20 to 30 people, depending on time of year. We'd always come to that, and we always get a nice a guest speaker come in that can talk about their topic of interest and things like that. But it's great because we would start at like 6:30, and people aren't leaving until like 10:30, 11 at night. That's great. And we just connect and we're just having a really great time. So I really enjoyed that.
I love the idea of these groups where you can get together with other sort of entrepreneurs, because so many times, even if you're running a large company, it's so lonely. It is. Because you got this kind of mindset. You're a go-getter, depending on what space you're in. Like in your case, digital. As a go-getter, it's lonely sometimes. So being in a space like that is really cool. It is.
Like when you're focused on getting your product out there or your service, whatever it is, you'll put some big hours in. And you won't have people around you all the time. But like the way new technology works now with social media, things like that, and things like Meetup, you can find people who've got a real common interest, very specifically, and you can get together with people. They know the path you're traveling. So a lot of people I hang out with now, they spend their nights sitting in front of computers, posting up on social media. And then we get together a couple of nights a week and take photos. Hey, look, we do have friends, and we'll post it up there. But we can talk about the same things. And when we collaborate, and that ability to talk with people and to share where you're at, it means you're not lonely. And as Hector always said, you can be in business for yourself. You don't have to be in business by yourself. So, and it's good to have friends that know where you're going, because sometimes family members, they don't understand why you're doing what you're doing. Looking a bit funny, why don't you get a real job?
No, that's great. Cool. So how do people find you? You on Facebook?
On Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Just look up Paul Barby. Digital Go-Getters Entrepreneurs, or you go to our website, softwarehouse.com.au. And the latest thing that we're promoting across Australia is actually called Free the Thinkers. Free the Thinkers. Okay, and the whole concept behind that is, as an entrepreneur and a business person, we always get caught up in the grind. And we believe that our program is the way to help you get out of that grind and sort of do the collaboration thing that I really talk about a lot, and connect with other people and teach you how to then obviously outsource properly. So you can have other people doing the stuff you don't like, and you can just focus on what you love doing and grow your business that way.
Cool. Because I don't like doing invoicing.
Who does?
Some people do. Like I've been in places and people's like, oh, I just love invoicing, because when they create the invoice, they can see the amount of money they're making. I don't get any satisfaction out of that. I actually have to sort of hire someone, even if it's for an hour, just to do that, because I I just don't like it that much.
I personally, I do like the networking now over everything else.
Yeah.
So now I've got my feet under me with those sort of things. I actually enjoy it. I'm lucky because I'm in business with 2 other business partners.
Yeah.
So I've got Daniel, not this Daniel. He does all the tech work and gets all the websites built and all the software running. I've got Hector, he looks after all the accounts. He does the invoicing, debt collection, stuff like that. So I just go.
I need a Hector.
Find work, make a sign the line, off I go find some more.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. No, that's great. Awesome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching, guys. You're watching Stories, which is on the YouTube channel, which you guys are most likely watching. If you're on Facebook seeing this, go to YouTube. There's a whole bunch of other ones. Really appreciate you being, or actually, we in Lexus showroom.
Yeah, Springwood.
Springwood, in the conference room, which is an amazing place, and I can see why they offer this, because you walk past all these amazing looking cars and you're just like, I'm gonna write a check. So yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing your story with us. Thanks for being on here, guys. Remember, stay tuned for other episodes. Share this around, and until next time, we'll catch you later. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.